Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWE News and Rumors. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Hodge. So this video, guys, is brought to you by SeatGeek. So if you guys are looking for tickets for any event in the entire world, it does not have to be wrestling related. Go ahead, use my last name, code Hodge, on SeatGeek and save yourselves $20 freaking off your tickets. So guys, just before we jump in, I do want to say, as for the schedule for the news thing, we're kind of back to normal here. It's going to be Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday every week, unless something crazy happens or I'm like traveling or something, which I'm going to be traveling this week. So I'm not too sure how news is going to work, but I'm going to try to stay as close to that schedule as I possibly can at all times. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. So the first news story, first and actually only news story today, is going to be about our tribal chief, Mr. Roman Reigns. So Roman Reigns, he has some t-shirts, right? He sells his t-shirts. I've seen a lot of people selling those t-shirts. Exactly how many shirts has he sold? Or what kind of metric is here? Apparently, Roman Reigns is the #1 merchandise seller in the entire company right now. And not just that, he's selling so many shirts that he's actually on the same level as John Cena. So John Cena is their top, pretty much babyface in the history of the company. I guess other than like Hulk Hogan or so, Stone Cold or someone. But anyway, basically, Roman's on the same level as Cena right now. And Cena was the top babyface. Roman is a heel. He's a bad guy. For him to be able to sell that many shirts as a bad guy just says a lot. But he apparently right now he's on the same level as John Cena was when he was on top on selling the freaking merchandise. So that was actually the only confirmed news story to talk to you guys about today. But don't you dare go anywhere, guys. Go and get your juice boxes out. Get your juice boxes ready because it is now time to talk about some juicy rumors. The first rumor is about Peacock. So Peacock is WWE, I don't even say it's WWE streaming because WWE doesn't own it, NBC owns it. Basically, that is where it's the new WWE network, right? It's on Peacock or whatever. So how's this doing? Apparently, Peacock's doing great. Is everything great? WWE, it's not great. It's just great. It's just wonderful. It's great, yeah. So Peacock obviously has had some technical issues and it's not as well developed as the previous way we got the WWE network was just this, standalone WWE network. But apparently, as for numbers and as for money, at least, Peacock's doing great. This is great. So WWE are saying that, basically said that more people are watching the pay-per-views on Peacock than they did on this normal WWE network. So Peacock, as far as that, has done great. And everyone's really transitioned really well. Their numbers are even higher than they were on the WWE network. I don't know if that's to do with, not just pure wrestling fans watching it, just maybe Peacock subscribers being like, hey, what's WWE? Let's click on it. And then maybe something like that. I really don't know. I can't really imagine how this is even possible. But anyway, Peacock, yeah, it's doing great. All right, the next rumor. I don't even know what to put up on screen for this one. It's about WWE and the way they've always been. So basically, WWE has a deal with Fox, right? They have a deal with Fox for SmackDown or whatever. And I guess Fox was trying to do another deal with a different wrestling company and just WWE wasn't having it. Even though it's a much, 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 much smaller company. It's an indie promotion called MLW. Basically, they were trying to work out a deal with Fox so they could be on one of the Fox apps or something called Tubi or something. They were trying to put the wrestling on that, and they were working out a deal, but apparently WWE found out about this deal. They're like, hey, Fox, don't do that. You're putting this whole WWE deal, this huge billions of dollars of a deal, in jeopardy if you do business with that smaller promotion. It's just WWE being really petty about it because they're just such a smaller promotion. It's not like they would even come anywhere close to touching WWE's numbers, but just WWE didn't want Fox doing business with another wrestling promotion, so the MLW deal with Fox for one of their partner apps, Tubi or whatever, has basically fell through. Now, I guess they're still trying to work out some way to do this, but I just don't think WWE's going to have it. And ultimately, they're the biggest wrestling company they have signed. They're the people bringing in the money, so I guess they can make the call somehow. All right, the next rumor is going to be about Mr. Bray Wyatt. Of course, Bray Wyatt is a name we know from the WWE, but he is no longer with the WWE. He has been fired by the WWE via budget cuts or whatever the kind of excuse they can use. That's the whole thing about this whole pandemic. They can kind of just say it's budget cuts due to the pandemic, and they can basically get away with anything, or they can say due to the pandemic on anything, and basically just get away from anything. This is crazy. Anyway, Bray, there's been some rumors about where this guy's going to show up, where he's going to wrestle now that he's out of the WWE. The biggest thing has been Impact, but apparently that deal is nowhere close. There is no deal. They're not even close to cutting a deal, and Bray's not really interested in Impact Wrestling at all. So, not sure where that rumor came from about him going to Impact, but it apparently isn't true. And they have people, Impact, still trying to reach out to Bray, but Bray just doesn't seem to have an interest in it. I mean, if I'm an indie, I don't want to call it indie. If I'm a free agent, legitimate free agent, I'm not signed to any wrestling company, and I'm looking at the big guys, I'm either wanting to go to WWE or AEW. And if I was just at WWE and WWE had to release me because there's dumb reason or whatever, I'm looking at the next place, AEW. Now, I don't know if AEW sent Bray an offer or not, but hopefully the guy will show up there. I mean, the last place in the world I'm looking is Impact Wrestling. I'll just do the indie circuit and go all the way around. I mean, Impact, if they bring in a big number deal, if they even have that big money to throw at someone, which I don't really think they are pulling in that big money because they don't really have a huge, giant TV deal like they once did like 10 years ago or whatever. I mean, anything's possible, but Bray's probably... This rumor's saying Bray is really not that interested in Impact. He's looking at other options before he's like looking at Impact. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final news story. This is the final rumor. The final thing I'm going to be talking about inside of this episode of WWE News Rumors. So we're just going to jumble this up all into one. So it's partially about Brock Lesnar, partially about Roman Reigns, but I guess there's more on the Lesnar side, so we'll put Lesnar up on the screen. So basically, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is happening at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view for the Universal Championship. Now, the question that is left among all of us: is Brock Lesnar taking the title off of Roman? Roman's been this undefeatable beast, tribal chief, god status. Is Brock the guy to take the title off of Roman? Well, personally, my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think Brock's the guy, at least not right now. I mean, I just don't think there's enough build-up, enough hype behind that this is a legitimate possibility or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, this match is very, very exciting. It's something that a lot of people wanted Brock to come back and finally have that match with Reigns. Crown Jewel is a good place to do it from a money perspective, but you know, I just don't think that's the place to have the title taken off of him. And we may have this feud start at Crown Jewel and go into WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Brock takes the title off. I could definitely see that happening. I just don't think Crown Jewel's when to go off him. But anyway, the rumor here is that Reigns and Lesnar, the feud is long term, so it's going to keep going after Crown Jewel no matter what happens. But there is a conflicting thing, well, not really conflicting, but adding thing that's saying Lesnar will not really be doing too many shows after Crown Jewel for the rest of the year. Basically, Lesnar's going to disappear for the rest of 2021. So if he's one of the championships going to disappear for, I don't think so. So what I think is going to happen, I think Reigns is going to retain, and then maybe at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble we can revisit it. Brock Lesnar is taking a hiatus after Crown Jewel, and his next event that he's planned to wrestle at is actually Royal Rumble. So they very easily have Reigns and Lesnar at Royal Rumble in the main event. If they might be bringing in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, The Rock, if they might be bringing him in to face Reigns at WrestleMania. But if they're not bringing in Brock, they might hold off Lesnar and Reigns until WrestleMania. But Brock will return, and they'll have their big match either at Rumble or Mania, and then we can actually talk about the possibility of Reigns dropping the title to Lesnar. So there you guys have it. That's actually going to do it for this episode of WWE News and Rumors. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Right now on the screen, I'm going to leave a link to 2 previous videos for you guys to check out, as well as a button to subscribe to this channel if you guys are brand new here. But I am Brandon Hodge, and I will see you guys in the next video.